When we seek to manifest from a place of our creative, divine, inspired potential, we must first understand one thing, and that is the metaphysics of manifestation itself. So I was urged by one of my lovely subscribers recently to make more content about manifestation. And in order to do so, we must first lay the foundation of understanding, which you will see on the screen right now. And here you find that we have these energetic layers emanating out from, or rather emanating towards, the physical manifestation itself, the body, if you will. And so really we need to understand first and foremost that the body is the final or last emanation of the energetic fields that lie prior to it. So just beyond the physical, we have the etheric body. And the etheric body is essentially the morphic resonance blueprint information field. Might sound advanced, but basically the etheric field, the etheric body surrounding the physical body, is that field of information which informs the physical body of how to configure itself. It is that in which the DNA gathers its resources, its information as to how to configure itself. It is on behalf of the blueprint that, let's say you cut a wound and that wound begins to heal in the perfect, orderly fashion that it needs to. I know that is contrary to materialist science, but that is how I've come to view it. So, with this knowledge, we then see that there are multiple densities of energetic fields, these information fields that even lie prior to or predate both the physical and the etheric, and these are the mental, the emotional, the astral, both higher and lower, the celestial planes, all these things, right? And they're not so important in and of themselves. Because what is important to know is that the layer prior to the one that you're currently viewing your lens of attention through, whatever that layer may be, the layer predating that, or that which is prior to your currently experienced layer, that is what informs the layer that is more dense. More dense being more, you can compare it to the core of the earth. So the more you move closer to the core, the more dense it gets. And it is the same with these energetic fields, that the more you move towards the center, the more you move towards the physical, the more dense the energy information becomes. So the less dense informs the more dense of how to construct or configure itself. And so with that knowledge, we can begin to contemplate then, well, how do I tap into these less dense fields of information? How do I manifest from a non-physical, non-linear, timeless, spaceless place in myself, right? Because that is really the key here. And even our imagination itself is a byproduct of these higher fields, because it is not bound by time or space. No, you can envision any possibility imaginable. How cool is that? So we can literally create any experience with our mind faculties. And our mind is connected to all these fields, meaning that when we really step into and relive this experience that we so desire, and we do it from a spacious place of awareness in ourselves, this expanded, very vast place in ourselves, which is not limited to the physical or to any constraints for that matter at all. The more unburdened we can become, the more we can relax our attention into the innate spacious nature of our own being, the more effortlessly we're able to manifest down into this world. Because let's say that let's take a step back, shall we? Okay, so first of all, we need to define what attention is. Attention really means to stretch. So when you are experiencing this physical reality, what you're doing as awareness is that you stretch your own being towards this objective experience. And that creates, out of your own being, creates the experience of what is going on right now. Because you stretch your attention towards it, that reveals it. And so, rather than stretching our attention towards something, which is the natural tendency when we're in the wakeful state, we gravitate our attention towards all these things. Rather than limiting or stretching your attention towards something, you want to relax the attention back into its original nature, which is awareness itself. And awareness is not characterized in any way. You cannot put any word, label, or description to awareness. Awareness is simply the very fact of existing. It is the very fact of you knowing that you exist right now. So the more that you can simply tune into that, and the more that you can relax your attention from everything else, the more you return to your original spaciousness. And from that place, that is when you want to really relive these experiences that you desire as though they are either in the past or in the present, whichever you will, but really relive them through all the faculties of your senses, all of your intuitive knowing, all of your mental mind capacities, really. You want to activate as much in you as possible to really make this experience real. And when you then implant this potential in the field of information, in your own being, so to speak, it can trickle down into these various layers, these densities, and finally, perhaps, reach the physical with much greater magnitude than if you were to simply think it and desire to create it. Because if you have a thought in your mind, sorry for the lighting, so if you have a simple thought, well, in linear fashion, you imagine, well, I have to put in all this kind of stuff, this effort, right, to make it happen. And that might be the case at a certain level. But we operate in a magical universe where miracles and magic and spontaneity, synchronicities happen every single day. And we can't necessarily explain that with our linear, logical mind, can we? No. So there's room, when we step into the pure potentiality of our being, for things to flow more effortlessly, to happen more spontaneously, without our having to figure everything out, but simply having faith in and surrendering to the process itself and allowing life to work through you as life itself. That is really the major key that I'm trying here to convey to you. So I hope that satisfies for now. I very much look forward to perhaps making guided content for you that invokes these experiences of cultivating this, I was about to say awareness, but it is not even that. It is more about simply returning to the knowing of our being and to seeing our desired reality now and experiencing it fully now, and for that to be so. Thank you so much for listening. Wish you all the absolute best. So if you trust me, if you look to work with me, and if you think that we are a good match for one another, I would urge you more than anything to check out the link in the description of this video, because you will find my spiritual life coaching program where I do one-on-one coaching for you. And if this in some way piques your interest, go check it out. And until then, see you next time. Bye.